Hi everyone, welcome to another of our Sports Science Support Series videos. Today I'm going to be talking about ownership and responsibility over your swimming. I hope you've all had a really nice week. I hope you enjoyed Kate's video on Wednesday, and this is actually going to be my last video. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, they're all on YouTube now. Just search for GCSC and they should come up. So yeah, let's start with this one. So, responsibility and ownership. So starting with ownership, a common trait among successful senior swimmers is that they take complete ownership over their own swimming. So this means that they rely on their own work and their own attitude to determine their success, rather than the actions of others, so rather than the actions of their friends, coaches or parents. They understand that what they do will greatly impact how they do. And here are some characteristics that show that a swimmer has taken ownership. So first one, communication. So someone who's taken ownership will have clear communication lines between themselves and their coach. So this allows for both parties to know the plan, which allows them to be able to execute it well. If you don't communicate your goals to your coach, how can they help you to achieve them? They won't know what you want. So ultimately, your coach is there so that you can bring the best out of yourself and reach your goals. They need to know how hard to push you and what work to give you, so they need to know what your goals are. By the time you start to reach the senior ranks, so as you get a little bit older, you have total control of this communication. So your parents at that point won't be asking any questions for you. They'll be less directly involved with the communication between you and your coach. So the earlier you get this communication built up, the better. Successful swimmers understand that feedback won't always be positive, but it can always be constructive. So they understand that they might get a little bit of if their race has not gone so well, this will turn into constructive feedback. They understand that and they accept that. Understanding the process. So a swimmer who understands the details and actions within the process of their goal will have much greater chance of achieving it. For example, being aware of a split you need to hit in training, how many kicks off each wall, doing the little things every day they need to get right. You should know the answer to every question your coach asks you about a race, including what time you're going to go. That would really show that you've taken ownership and that you've got a solid race plan that you're going to follow to a T. So responsibility as part of ownership. So you'll make decisions every day that will impact your level of success. So it's how we make these decisions that is important. So taking responsibility for your decisions does many things. Empowers you to do what it takes and get the job done. Boosts the morale of the people around you. Creates a two-way level of trust between you and your coach. Try to stay away from people who blame others for how they are training or racing. Most of the excuses that you hear from them will simply be that. They'll be excuses. Or some coaches will call them lies. Discipline. Doing the right thing consistently regardless of the convenience of the situation. Sometimes you won't feel like doing it, and this is when it's most important to do it. Don't choose the easy path, because instant gratification is something that can be hard to find as you go through sport. If you're thriving and training for instant gratification, you'll very easily burn out. Don't let moments of weakness stop you from achieving. For example, turning your alarm off at 5 AM and going back to sleep is a very, very common one. Disciplined swimmers know how to make the right decisions to get what they need to achieve and are responsible for staying their own focus. Aware of the ego. Now this is quite an important one. So ego can drive people in a good way and make them better, but it can also become the enemy when it becomes too big. In order to improve, we need to take criticism and accept change. No matter how fast you are or how well you think you've done, you have to listen to advice that comes from your coaches. You will not fail if you allow other people to see that you don't know everything and are willing to learn. Wanting to know more is not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of you not knowing what you're doing. It's so that you can learn more and how to improve as a swimmer. Don't let your ego get in the way of owning what you're doing in training and racing. Okay. So being responsible. So we've spoken a lot in my talks about not blaming others for our performances, but there are other ways you can show responsibility. For example, pack your own bag before training and empty it yourself, not your parents, okay? We had a scenario once when I was a swimmer at a competition, and one of the little kids was crying and having a tantrum because their parents hadn't packed their racing goggles. That wasn't the parents' responsibility, that was their responsibility to put their racing goggles in their bag, okay? Take care of your equipment. It is expensive and you need to look after it. The easiest way you can show responsibility is by taking care of your equipment, but also other people's equipment. If you borrow something of someone's, or you let someone borrow something, they need to take care of that. It's their responsibility. Be responsible for planning and knowing exactly where you need to be at meet. Don't be stressing, looking up in the crowd, trying to find your mum or dad, waving frantically, saying, where do I need to go? What heat am I in? You need to know that. It's your responsibility to know where you need to be. Your parents are there to support you and guide you. They want you to do well, but they are not responsible for your swimming. Okay, you are. So those little things and the stuff we've previously talked about in some of the talks are really good ways of showing that you're responsible for your swimming. Okay, so that was a quick one, but I hope it explains a little bit more about how you can take ownership and be responsible when it comes to us getting back in the pool. I really hope you're all well and you're all managing to get some stuff done whilst in lockdown. Hopefully we'll be back in the pool soon. Thank you for tuning into all the videos and for all your support. It's been really great to see a lot of people engaging in the stuff that we've been doing. Like I said, this is my last video, but hopefully I'll see you all soon, and I hope you all stay well. Thanks guys, bye.